Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video here in the garage. Welcome to a gorgeous day here in Pennsylvania. And welcome to, I guess, back from vacation, if you will. So I wasn't actually on vacation. Well, there's nowhere really to go right now. I just really had a lazy week. So last week, working on the truck, I'd come out in the garage, maybe piddle around a little bit, but I really didn't get anything done. The whole pandemic thing with the track being closed and stuff like that has really kind of made me a bit lazy on getting stuff done on the race truck. It's just kind of one of those, you know, the mental thing of we need to get it done by like this date, and now you got that reason to push and all that, and we don't have that right now. Like the tracks, it doesn't look like any time in the foreseeable future they're going to be opened up and all that, which, the problem with that kind of thinking is then you get caught off guard, and when they do open up, you're not ready. So last week I just kind of had that little mental blockage, and we're going to try and get through that. Like I said, just having one of those weeks. Didn't really feel like kind of doing anything of any real value here in the garage. Like I said, we did piddle around a little bit, which we will get into here in a second. One thing we did accomplish, we got a little interior decorating done. So as you guys can see, we have a couple new banners up here in the garage. If we get a few more, I won't have to repaint because, as you can imagine, all of the cutting, grinding, welding that we've done on the race truck over the last couple years, this place really could use a great cleaning and a paint job, but I don't think we're going to do that anytime soon just because of, there's probably going to be a lot more cutting, grinding, and welding on this thing. So anyway, I just wanted to point out these banners because these are people who help support the race truck. We have their parts, their help on all kinds of different aspects of it, and everybody kind of throughout the build has been together. When we stepped up to go for this 2K horsepower, from John and the guys at Muldoon's with our transmission, trying to decide what we need to do converter wise, what we need to upgrade in our transmission. The guys at Freedom and Fleece, obviously, with the whole engine setup, trying to get that all dialed in, figure out what we want for our application. That way then we could work with the guys at S&S and Hardway to get our fueling figured out and all that. And then obviously, not last or least, the guys at AirDog and Fluid Amper, who, AirDog, they supply the filtration on this truck to make sure that fuel going to our S&S fuel injectors and our Freedom engine is, clean and has all the air out of it and all that. So we have that going, and obviously the guys at Fluid Amper for keeping the internal harmonics of this engine alive at 2K. I really do think that the Fluid Amper on our 674 really did help it live. Like I said, the stock one is made to go, to 3,500 RPM or whatever the stock engine goes to, and we were spinning like 5,000. I think a couple times the stock engine went above that. So to kind of keep that stock 6.7 alive, I really do think the Fluid Amper helped. And we have that on this engine to keep that 2K horsepower under control. So that's why these banners are up here. There is a reason for it. It's not like they just sent me these and I'm throwing them up there. There is a reason for it. If somebody wants a banner on the wall, there has to be a good reason. I'm not going to be just putting stuff up there just because we have it. There is a reason these particular companies are up there on the wall. So anyway, guys, after that, what are we getting into tonight? Well, tonight, like I said, had a little bit of a lazy week last week, but we did accomplish one thing. So we did manage to modify the hot side intercooler piping. As you guys can see, we now have our blow-off port for our Turbo Smart blow-off valve. Also, I have the bung for our solenoid. So how the blow-off valve works is when we get off the throttle, we're going to have this slug of air coming from the turbocharger basically with nowhere to go. So that's going to back up because the turbo is still spinning, back up our turbo and kind of make our turbo, you get that turbo flutter, that little which sounds cool, really does, but it's not great for the turbo. So what happens is this solenoid actually puts the boost pressure from the hot side piping on top of our blow-off valve here with the spring pressure and keeps it closed. As soon as the controller, which is in the cab, right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. As soon as that sees a decrease in TPS signal, so sees our throttle position change in a negative fashion because we lifted, it will open this solenoid valve, releasing that pressure, and then the boost pressure will actually lift the blow-off valve open, thus keeping our turbo hopefully from doing that, turbo flutter or whatever, that, and trying to save it, prolong the longevity of it. So this is something we had, so we're going to throw that on there. Like I said, got another port for this pipe, welded that in, and we can get that mounted. Wires ran. Also, the other thing we got is we have a bung here for our nitrous. So our nitrous on the truck currently is going to be set up for just the spool jet. The spool jet is going to be pre-intercooler, so it'll come in, kind of help the intercooler cool, but it'll also dampen the effects of the nitrous itself. If we wanted a big hit like on a dyno or something like that, we would probably have that right before the intake of the engine. But being this is just a spool jet, we're putting it right here. Now, that being said, eventually the truck will probably see more nitrous, but this is just to get us started. So we're going to get that all piped in, plumbed in, all that, get our nitrous solenoid mounted, and then we will get our nitrous bottle in and plumbed and all that. So as you guys can see, kind of have an idea of where I'm thinking about it. I actually think I might want to put it down inside the frame rail. Haven't figured out that out 100%, but that is the goal for tonight, is to get the nitrous and the blow-off valve completely plumbed and wired. So that's more than enough talking for tonight, or well, for now. I'm not going to talk too much more, hopefully. We'll see. It's been a while, guys. Haven't talked to you in a while. So anyway, let's get to putting this stuff in. So guys, as you can see, we have our nitrous bottle mounted. Everything is plumbed. I had already made steel plates up under here, which I welded to the frame. Basically, these brackets that you get, these are from Nitrous Outlet. They come with this basic diesel kit you get for your nitrous setup. They're not the best brackets in the world by any means. They're definitely the budget style kit. These wing nuts are kind of a pain to tighten up. What I'm going to do is actually make something that's longer with a nut on it, and probably eventually get a billet bracket for these. These things are just kind of flimsy. Like I said, it's kind of the budget kit. Decided to mount it back here. I was really debating, whether to put it in the cab of the truck or back here. My preference is definitely back here, just in case something were to ever happen. And I was thinking about putting it down here along the frame rail, just so if something were to ever happen to our tire. But we have some work we have to do back here with the cross member. We are going to be adding something here that is possibly deployable to slow the truck down. And also we have our coilover still to put on. So once those two things are in, maybe then we will actually move the bottle down, behind the frame rail. We'll see what kind of room we have, but I'm happy with how it is right now. We have our line ran up, under the, follows the frame, under the cab, follows the whole cage, and then we get up front. And what I did was I just mounted our nitrous solenoid right there. So our feed comes up, nitrous solenoid, and then it can feed our intercooler piping here. Also, our blow-off valve is installed. Everything is all wired up. I have little clamps, going back to the frame. Everything is nice and tidy. I did spend a lot of time, like I said, trying to figure out where I wanted the nitrous bottle. Also, our nitrous solenoid, I spent a lot of time figuring out where I wanted that before we had our intercooler pipe even in. And the reason for that is I know eventually we will end up with possibly like 4 solenoids, and I would like them all to be like in a general location, like maybe mounted up here on the intercooler or something. But until we get to that point, I figured this is a good place to put it, and then when we expand, we can just kind of move stuff around from there. Nothing on this truck is permanent, as you guys probably know already. We will have to make brackets, so on and so forth. So our nitrous system is plumbed. Everything's looking good there. Also, our blow-off valve is plumbed, and we have electric to that. As far as our nitrous system goes, we talked about the blow-off valve, how we're going to be running that. With this one spool jet, we are going to be running that with this Nitrous Outlet Pro Max controller. This is a progressive controller. We're going to be running our progressive controller off of throttle and boost response off of other sensors in the truck. I would show you guys that, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know 100% what it looks like. When I say what it looks like, I've been through the software. I see what it physically looks like, but I don't understand exactly how we're going to incorporate it into how we're running the truck. So I want to be able to explain to you guys what we're doing, how we're doing it, when we're doing it. That way you guys can understand it, because I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked into it enough to understand it. I just kind of know it's a basic ramp of how much nitrous is coming in based on either like throttle or boost pressure or whatever. But when we get to that, we'll go through it thoroughly. So, and I know it doesn't seem like we got a lot done tonight. It's kind of basic stuff, but it's stuff that needed done. But it is done. It's tidy and all that. Another thing I was doing, in the meantime, I was also looking at our hood stack. So, how I have the hood stack right now is as high up as I can get it with the front clip down. So, the question becomes, where do we want to put our hood stack? Do we want to move it back a little bit? Do we want to move it forward? I want to know what you guys think down in the comments. If we flip our front clip down, like so, I haven't pushed it back yet, but our hood stack is somewhere in this region. But let me know what you guys think, whether we should just have it right here, a little bit more off this side. I would actually kind of like the exhaust to kind of shoot out at an angle a little bit, just for a simple fact of, just getting things all cluttered up and dirty. And hood stacks are very cool, but for the limited amount of driving I did with this thing on the street with a hood stack, as cool as they are, I don't think they're cool enough to... yeah, they're just a mess. They're not cool enough to make that mess worthwhile. Like when we drove this thing back from Muldoon's at one time, which was probably the longest trip this thing was on with the hood stack, and it was just black on the one side of the truck. It was just terrible. It sounded cool. I'm sure it looked cool from the outside, surprising people. I saw that on the highway, but as far as cleanup goes, the entire truck was white except for like that side of the truck. That was all black and a pain to get off. So anyway, I think I just want that to shoot kind of out there. Anyway, guys, kind of rambling. I know it wasn't the most exciting video, but we got some stuff done we needed to do. We got our nitrous installed. We got our blow-off installed. So we are moving on forward. Like I said before, honestly, we've kind of run out of stuff to do on the truck. And when I say that, I don't mean that we've run out of stuff to do. It's we've run out of stuff we can do right now. I do have some things on the way for it, but it's nearing the running phase. So the truck is just about ready for the track, and there's no track local we can run at. You see where I was at the beginning of the video? But anyway, we got some stuff done. I'm going to try and stay positive, keep moving forward on this thing, And I already made a list of stuff that needs done. And once we get that done, like when it is race ready, if we still can't race, I got another list of here's some modifications we can make in the meantime. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Sorry for all the rambling. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Get out in your garage, get the wrench on your truck.